Welcome back to the final whistle then for another match preview on the channel. And Leicester City take on Wrexham on Tuesday night. And a game we can't bloody afford to draw again. 3 consecutive draws for the Foxes in the last 3 games. And could we see the return of Connor Cody? Danny Ward, I believe, is injured. Callum Doyle, Matty James, Lewis Brunt. I mean, Wrexham are building a little Leicester over there. So we're going to chat with Tim from Fearless and Devotion. He's going to give us the lowdown on Wrexham of how well they've done under Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. Back-to-back promotions in 3 consecutive years, Wrexham. Their aim this season is to stay up. Leicester, surely we've gone high on the Premier League. But yeah, we're going to chat with Tim. We're going to chat with Steve. Get your comments as always. If you've got any questions regarding Wrexham in the game, get involved. Hit a like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you haven't subscribed already, then please do so. Let's get Steve in. Steve, how are we?
Yeah, all right. I'm all right, you know. I'm a bit ill now, but we soldier on. Here for tonight, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It just doesn't change.
Have you had a good Sunday though? Have you enjoyed your last 2 days away from the West Brom game?
No, it's fucking chaotic, mate. I was up to Harrogate today for the Le Creuset factory sale. Very middle class of me, I know. And it was manic. It was like fucking. Do you know those the old videos you used to get of like Black Friday and Thanksgiving for America where they go in and fight over TVs? It was a bit like that, but with old white middle class ladies. So yeah, a bit all over the place. But you know, back home now, so we go. Lovely.
Let's get our guest in. A Wrexham podcast, Fearless in Devotion. Tim Edwards. Tim, how are we, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Welcome to the channel, Tim. Talk to us about your podcast then with Wrexham.
Yeah. I set it up about 10 years ago. I didn't expect it to get what it's doing now, but then I don't think anybody saw what was coming the last four years or so. So yeah, I set it up just to be like a fans channel kind of thing, and it's kind of gravitated from that to a hard copy fanzine to usual social media stuff. We do live shows, which is a good laugh. And yeah, it's just good fun, but you got to try and keep it relatively humble and grounded, not say shit that isn't true. You know, for the most part, you got to call it as people would expect you to call it or see it, and not do for likes and clicks and all that sort of bollocks. So yeah, I'm assuming I can swear on this channel.
Yeah, hey, do what you please, mate. We're not past the watershed yet, but I think
he already swore once. He said the word Harrogate, and that sent shivers down my spine because it wasn't that long ago we were playing them either. So there we are. Horrible.
Let's say hello to the chat. Hello, Rich. Who won gains importance after Friday? We need to bounce back on Tuesday night. Happy Sunday, everyone. Dan, hello. Gareth, how are we, pal? Come on, Jack, get the show underway. I've got to go on to watch Big Brother. Big Brother's more important than this. Who watches Big Brother these days anyway? Like, you know, that's been on off TV and on TV. It's been one of them, but I'm sure it's the 3 boys on here don't really watch Big Brother, to be fair. Steve?
Yeah, it's not my thing. No, I mean, I remember it years and years and years ago when we had like Orla and Kinga and that sort of thing, but I can't remember since then. That's how far it goes back for me.
Fair enough. Tim, let's chat about Wrexham. Back-to-back promotions, come all the way from the conference up to the championship. Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds have done very much wonders with the club. They call it a fairy tale story at Wrexham. Some call it very much Disney, if you're a Birmingham fan.
It's an underdog story.
It is. Yeah. But no, talk to me about the story of Wrexham on the rise.
I mean, it depends how much context you want to put into it. You know, I get why people get pissed off about it because of the column inches and you know, we've got no divine right to be so far up BBC football front page. I get it, but I understand why they do it. I suppose it gets the clicks, it gets the likes, it generates the traffic and all that sort of stuff. So I do understand the ire of the football fans over it, especially when we were like lower down the pyramid. It was daft, really. But it's just been crazy. I think anybody from the outside looking in can think, fucking hell, they've done it again. Oh, they've done it again. And then people say, oh yeah, well, money can buy you that. Yeah, it probably can to a certain extent, but you still got to work with it, you know, because there was always the concern that you get a bunch of mercenaries coming in for a bit of dollar, it doesn't quite gel and it backfires. So Phil Parkinson has very much fostered this kind of never say die, us versus them mentality, and just kind of like keep the outside noise very much there on the periphery. Like, don't worry about the cameras, don't worry about documentary, just come in and be part of a journey and be part of what has turned out to be something quite special, I guess. You know, it's just about maintaining it now. Right? Those 3 years, almost, they would never not count for nothing, but they would definitely, you know, sort of pale into insignificance if we would completely fall off a cliff this season and go back, you know, with a whimper. So it's been amazing, and you can't ever take it for granted. I love it. You know, we were, yes, there's elements of the romantic idea of me, it misses elements of going back to some football backwaters where, you know, be one man and his dog sat there and you could go get a cup of tea in a proper mug and take it to your end and then give it back. I miss elements of that, but it's great to be coming to places like your gaff and so many more. And yeah, it's just been nuts. It's been a crazy few years.
It has. How good was League One last season? Obviously, it was competing with Birmingham. Obviously, Birmingham came down from the Championship, didn't they? They finished on a big number of points. I think it was 111 in the end. Wrexham did run them quite close, didn't they, for the title at one point? Obviously, you've both got American owners, haven't you? Obviously, you do sort of have a little dig at each other there and then. Birmingham saying about the Disney Channel and Mickey Mouse and all that, but how do you sort of find that banter between you and the Blues at the minute?
Yeah, this Hollywood derby shit can get in the bin, can't it? It's just annoying. we know what's going to happen this time. You know, next Friday, no doubt Tom Brady will tip up on trying to take tips off Ryan Reynolds on how to come across as a nice person on TV. Because I caught one episode of their documentary, and I just wanted to put my foot through the telly. I thought it was awful. Yeah. I kind of want to give it a chance. I do want to give it a chance, but he just has this tendency to rub people up the wrong way. I don't even think I think that's just him. It's just the way he is. I don't think he's not trying to be somebody he's not. He's just very much him, I guess. But look, Birmingham are a decent team. They're struggling this season, which is great, really, because anybody pays 11 million quid on a penalty taker, you know, in Jay Stansfield, fair enough. And that is an intended dig, because that's exactly what it is. Strange, interested encounters with some Birmingham fans over, especially last season. Very, like felt like they should have won it by more points, and that, you know, go back to where you came from, tin pot this, tin pot that. So it doesn't really matter. I'm not asked whether you got bigger crowds, whether you're from the second most populated city in the UK. At the end of the day, you're in the same division. It's 11 versus 11. Anything can happen on the day, and we should have beat them at home, really, but maybe we'll have another go next week. And, you know, they've had to take a lot of steps back to take one big one forward. I think that's probably fair to say. And we've had to take 15 years in the prison and National League to take 3 large leaps forward. So, yeah, I don't think there's any rivalry there. I think there's a competitive rivalry, but nothing beyond that. And it would be nice to finally get one over on them, to be fair.
Fair enough. Let's talk about the summer transfer window. Obviously, I've brought in quite a few ex-Leicester City players. Some Leicester fans, when we talk to them, Tim, they say Wrexham are building a little Leicester City over there. You know, you've got Lewis Brunt, you've got Matty James, you've got Callum Doyle, Connor Cody, Danny Ward. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Do you think you'll be taking any more of our players in January, or do you think
Doyle technically came from Man City? So let's have that right. Lewis Brunt, I suppose in my head he was. I don't know. He was at Mansfield as well, wasn't he, for a bit, Brunty? I think.
Yeah, we sent him out on loan quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's done really well. We weren't really sure what was getting with Lewis Brunt, but he's really kind of grown into that role, and physically he's a lot better than what he's ever been. And yeah, I like the look of him. Matty James, obviously, twilight his career. He probably, by his own admission, never even expected to be in this position now. You know, and when Windass has gone off, because Windass seems to be the captain at the moment. When Windass goes off, Matty James gets the captaincy. I'm still not kind of sold on how much of a part he'll play this year. He's got the brain. He's got the brains, no doubt about it. Whether he's still got the engine and the sort of swift thinking required at this level, I'm not too sure. I think he'll probably end up becoming a bit part player, because our midfield is where we're strongest in terms of the personnel we've got. But
yeah,
that's for Conor Cody missing in action, unless you find him on a podcast or 5 Live.
But, he was there this morning, and he was saying about how he was talking about Anthony Gordon, and how he didn't like the fact that he forced himself out at Everton because he left in the January when he was there, and he'd never do that. And I'm sitting there thinking, hang on, mate, you threw your toys out the pram because we asked for a fee for you from Rangers. What are you talking about? You did basically force yourself out, you bell end. Oh, I can't stand him. One of my bugbears is Conor Cody, and I can talk all night about how much I hate the guy.
I mean, it's too early for me to really kind of like cast aspersions. Obviously, he's clearly angling for a post-football career in punditry. It's pretty obvious. He's putting himself front and center for everything and anything. That's fine. I'm surprised he hasn't got his own podcast yet. Is the Conor Cody podcast. He's just been found out. He's been found out fairly early on in terms of pace will do you at this level, and that's what he lacks. What he makes up for in experience and leadership, and pretty decent in the air from what I can recall. But we've got Dom Hyam in from Blackburn Rovers, just kind of came out of nowhere. I couldn't have told you anything about Dom Hyam, but he's brilliant. He's just like a very calming, assured defender at the back who just gets on with it. No airs, no graces, no bullshit. Probably less pressure, because I think with Cody, there's an element of pressure on him, on his own shoulders, because of what he's achieved in the past. But it can either work for you or against you, can't it?
I would also say that the leadership is the jury's still out on that one in regards to Conor Cody and leadership. We didn't see it for the last couple of years. When he left, he was saying, "Oh, it's very difficult to get yourself motivated when you're losing every week." I'm like, "You're the captain, mate. What the fuck are you talking?" Sorry, yeah, get angry again. Getting angry. I heard when I turned on 5 Live earlier, driving up to Harrogate. I was like, "Oh, this bell end." I almost just cut it off entirely and just listened to nothing. But no, I guess listen to some.
He's basically a politician dressed as a footballer. Is my thinking.
That's how
he's a very, very good talker.
Yeah,
but I'd rather he was a very, very good footballer at this stage of his career.
That's what sort of frustrates you, to be fair, Tim. The guy does all his talking. It's like last season when we were in the Prem, he'd say, "Oh, the boys are up for this. We're going to do this, this, and this." And I'm like, "Okay, then. Well, let's see what you boys can put it into action. Then you haven't done it all fucking season." And then he'll get on the pitch and do nothing. And I'm just like, "Mate, you're all right. Are you sure you're a leader? You do all this talking. You don't do nothing on the pitch. You get beaten more times than anything." And he's just shit. It's just the way he is. Like the guy, every time he goes to a football club, it's like, "I really enjoy this club. It's a real big club. It's nice dressing room. It's this." And he said the same when he went to Wrexham, what he did to Wolves, to Everton, to Leicester. And I'm like, "Mate, you say a lot of things. Just fucking go and put your boots on and do your job."
Yeah.
And I don't know how much he's on at Wrexham. Some say he was on about, what's he on about? Is he on about 70 grand at you lot?
No, apparently it's 25 grand or so from what the report was. Yeah, that's roughly what your wage budget would be for him. But I
mean, even that is mad for me. I'm still getting my head around spending what we spent. I'm still getting my head around. It was literally less than a year ago. Our kind of record signing was something like 450 grand. Then all of a sudden, it's gone up to 7.5 million with Nathan Broadhead. So God knows what's going to happen in the next 12 months. Crazy.
It's crazy though, £2 million. Some Wrexham fans who I speak to on here and on social media, they say, "Yeah, I don't rate Conor Cody. Glad he's out of the team. We don't need him." I'm just like, "Yeah, I could have told you this before. He's not what you think he is." I'm like, "He's not the incredible Hulk, mate, of Wrexham, what you thought you were going to do and absolutely dominate the defence." And then you get on to Danny Ward. You lot love him. He's a Wrexham fan, Wrexham boy. Come through your academy, didn't he, at the time? But Leicester fans, when we mention Danny Ward, it's just a no-go with anything regarding Danny Ward. Absolutely honking goalkeeper. Penalty shootout is probably his best bet when you come to Danny Ward. But everything else, it's just like he's happy enough to sit on the bench and collect a wage, really, isn't he, rather than go and demand being a number one.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's a question he'll address in due course. It's a question that I asked one of his close mates, and he said, "Look, he's coming to Wrexham not to sit on the bench. He's kind of like proving a point, I guess." And he did start. I knew he was going to start in goal at Southampton, and obviously he's performed pretty well for us. And then obviously been unfortunate with the injury, so you just feel like he's cursed a bit. Yeah, he's made more money probably sat on the bench than he has actually actively playing. So I feel a little bit sorry for him, but I do think he probably will add value to us and what we're trying to do and bring it on with the goalkeepers. And I think this is probably his last hurrah, really. I mean, I feel sorry for him because I thought if he started well for us, which he did, and he maintained that form, he probably forces himself back into the sort of number one for Wales. But then Caldalo's doing decent at Leeds at the moment, so. Yeah, if I put the sentiment to one side, it is what it is, I guess. He's come for nothing, and he's taken a massive pay cut because he don't need the money. So
yeah, because he rinsed us, the bastard.
There you go.
What were we paying him?
We're a charity case. That's what it is.
He was on 60 grand a week at Leicester.
He's not on that here, I'll tell you that much. Less than half of that. Less than half.
I don't even think you'd back if you were on that type of money.
But we had Danny on our pod like a few years ago. He's such a lovely lad, and he does mean well. His heart's in the right place. But I just think fucking he just should have just gone. And we don't know. I mean, eventually he'll come out when he retires. He might say, "Look, I had no takers, or I had some shit offers, or." I don't know, somewhere in Portugal wanted to take me. I genuinely don't know. But at the same token, if we were all offered to be in his position, we'd all snap your hand off for it. Of course we would.
Yeah. So I do feel sorry for Danny Ward, because as much as we shit on him a lot, to be honest, it doesn't help having Wout Fass in front of you. When you're playing for the club. The season we got relegated, our defense was all over the place, and then he came in last season when Hermansen got injured at Newcastle, conceded 2 within 5 minutes at Newcastle, and then was terrible against Wolves. But even he said, because apparently he said, "I don't want to, take me out the firing line after the Wolves game." It doesn't help having awful defenders in front of you. You can be the best goalkeeper in the world, but if you've got two centre backs that can't defend, and you're facing 15, 20 shots a game, you're bound to concede. And his confidence was on the floor. So. Yeah, I feel for him a little bit, because he was never going to get ahead of Kasper Schmeichel when he was here, because club legend and won trophies with us. When he got his opportunity, he was kept in the squad in the starting 11 for too long under Rodgers that season. We were, as we'll probably come on to, as a club, we were broken for a very long time, and that season we went down was the perfect storm, and Danny Ward was just a casualty of that. I do feel sorry for him, and I don't hold any actual ill will against. I take the piss, but I don't hold any ill will against him, because again, he's a footballer. It's their job to try and perform on the pitch. And if you've not got all of the people performing with you pulling in the same direction, you might as well not be bothering. So
yeah, we've seen that with Leicester with many goalkeepers, haven't we? When the defence is shit and it bloody opens up, and then you concede so many goals. But that was the case with Danny Ward when he did come in from Kasper Schmeichel, wasn't it? Big boots to fill. Probably not the ideal goalkeeper to have at that time as a number one. Ward was number two with Kasper, were he at that point? Everson were there as well, weren't they? And if you'd wanted a better goalkeeper, I'd have probably said Everson were the best bet. But Danny Ward probably is the nicest bloke. But he just wasn't doing it, was he, in goal? And obviously, when
it's such an exposed part of the pitch, isn't it? It's like let's say, I know it's a very unfair comparison now, but let's say if Jamie Vardy didn't score any goals in 10 fucking games, you'd still give him loads because he's got so much credit in the bank. If Danny Ward goes and makes a mistake in 1 of 2 games, It's like get him out of the team. So it'll be the same for that useless fucker at Man United, Onana. Now he's gone. He'll probably be brilliant. Was it Galatasaray? I think he's gone to. So he'll probably be brilliant. And it's happening with a lot of Man United players. You know, that the point I'm trying to make is that some players don't fit for the club for whatever reason, and it happens. It happens on varying levels of scrutiny, and maybe just Danny Ward was one of those things where he just wasn't the right fit for the club for whatever reason, and ultimately he felt it in the end.
Yeah,
agreed. Yeah. Tim, what have you made to life in the Championship? 15th, played 7, won 2, drawn 2, lost 3. Phil Parkinson did come under a little bit of pressure. They did obviously say, but was you ever really like sort of thinking about that though when you did go on a bad run? Do you sort of think that you could have probably looked for a better manager in the long run, or is
what's a bad run really? I mean, Sheffield United, that's a bad run. That justifies the change of management that they had, and they've gone back to Old Faithful, haven't they? So, I mean, the Parkinson thing was bollocks. That came from a very unreliable source, and then we had Sean Harvey come on the pod who basically said, "Yeah, it was utter rubbish," and like we're all behind him. And you like any fan base, you'll always get a proportion of fans who will, you know, Phil Parkinson could win, I don't know, the Champions League 4 years in a row, but there'll still be some people who go, he's not good enough, because that's just the way we are. You know, we're quite a fickle bunch, aren't we? Yeah, of course it is. And like, he's a legend here because, like I said, you can be given the money, but you still got to make it work. And to make it work in the way he has, under the scrutiny he's been under, the sort of public glare, the whole thing of the ownership model and everything else, all that extra pressure that comes with it, it's just taking it into stride. And there's a lot of stuff recently where everybody goes, "Oh, Parkinson's record's crap in the Championship." But that's like, well, you're comparing it to a very, very long time ago, completely different period in his managerial career, where he wasn't given the tools to work with in the same regard as he has now. You know, there were mitigating circumstances with some of the clubs he was at. So I kind of likened it to, like, imagine being somewhere where you maybe not great at your job, or you feel underappreciated. You bugger off somewhere else for several years, you do really well elsewhere, and you come back and go, right, I'm back for that job now, and I'm fucking much better place to do a good fist of it. So I kind of want him to prove a lot of people wrong because he deserves it. He deserves time. And we're already seeing the kind of, you know, you don't go to Norwich and whack in 3 goals if your team is that bad. You don't recruit essentially a brand new squad within 8 weeks if you don't know what you're doing. You don't have 6 promotions under your career if you don't know what you're doing. So there's a lot of stuff that is anything that can be used to undermine Phil Parkinson. I think it's very much clutching at straws a little bit. If we go and lose 7 in a row now, then it's like something's drastically gone wrong. Yeah, you know, and he kind of he fosters this, like I mentioned before, he fosters this dressing room environment, which it's kind of has been seen, I suppose, on the documentary to a certain point, and it's hard to mimic that. You got to make sure that the players that you've got coming in, those egos don't clash. They don't clash with each other. They don't clash with the management. They don't clash with the fans. Because any of those clashes that you have, it's just a recipe for disaster. So he's avoided it because he knows how to do it. So yeah, I'm not having any character assassination of Phil Parkinson yet.
Fair enough. Let's chat about some of the key players for you lot this season so far. Kiefer Moore scoring the goals. Lewis O'Brien is the second in big chances created in the competition so far with 6. 2 key players for you lot, including obviously Josh Windhouse, who did score 2 good goals against Norwich at Carrow Road. How good have them players been for you so far?
Again, I think we're starting, probably the last week or 2, we're starting to see them gelling, because like I said, we've had to go out and spend and completely revamp a team that Parky and his backroom staff have kind of rightly or wrongly deemed are not going to be good enough for this level. As a Leicester fan we're speaking to before aptly described it as catch-up money. That's probably the best way of describing it. It's just the case. We've had to spend a lot of money to get a squad capable of holding its own at this level. So the ones that have come in have done. I mean, Kiefer Moore, I kind of knew what we were going to get with him anyway, and people say that's a proper Parky signing because the way Parky likes to play, whether it's the kind of long ball aspect, this, that, and the other. Been really good. It was great. A lot of Sheffield United fans said that they would drive him to us when it was rumoured that we were interested in him. I'm not sure they'd be saying that now, to be honest, but there we are. But he's done really well. Just his overall game, his hold-up play and his obviously aerial prowess is really good. Lewis O'Brien, solid, really good all-rounder. Scored a great goal yesterday. Josh Windass, ridiculous, considering that he cost us nothing. And he was rumoured to be worth about 6 or 7 million the previous year, depending on who you speak to. Just a really good, intelligent player. You'd never guess it, but Primer, a very, very intelligent player. Reading of the game is ridiculous. Scorer of really good goals. But follows instructions. Does a lot of defensive stuff as well, which is what you want. You can't just be an attacker and just go, right, I've missed a chance, I'll stick by here. He really gets involved tracking back. So yeah, excited with the players that we've got, which in my head, we still have no divine right to have. It's something I'm going to have to get over in my own time.
I honestly think Wrexham have started steady. I think you're sort of finding your feet now, and obviously you do when you're a newly promoted club, don't you? When you come into the Championship, it's obviously another step in the level again, and you think, okay, we've got to find the right squad to do it. And this is where I sort of look at Wrexham's squad. You've got a decent squad with some good Championship players in there, a good mixture of a squad. Nathan Broadhead did it for Ipswich, didn't he, in the Championship 2 years ago. He's a good midfielder. Windass scores goals for Sheffield Wednesday. So you've sort of found the sort of good players, and they've not really cost you a lot of money, have they, to be fair? I think Broadhead, did he cost you £7 million in the end?
Yeah, 7.5, I think. So he's our current record signing. And we haven't really seen a great deal of him yet, to be perfectly honest. He sort of came in and scored one of the goals has been taken off in dubious goals panel, but he scored a goal, his first goal for us in the Carabao Cup in midweek against Reading. Came on yesterday, tried to affect the game a bit. He's definitely got the talent to unlock tight games, no doubt about it, but there's still elements of me where can he do the dirtier defensive side of things, similar to what Windass does? I'm not seeing a lot of it yet, but again, to have a Welsh international playing for us, it's only in my head it can only come good. If he's had a slow start, surely it's going to come good. We can't expect everybody to hit the ground running, and that's proven. You make that many changes, you can't expect miracles. I think, was it Forest a couple of years ago where they brought in like 35 players or something? They were just all over the place. So it's going to take time, innit? It's going to take time. And if you'd have told me after 7 games we'd have this sort of points tally, I would have said in retrospect it's not that bad. We should have had more. We should have beat Sheffield Wednesday at home. Probably should have got a draw, very least at Southampton. If we score the chance we had, we should have won it.
Yeah.
But it's very fine margins at this level, isn't it? As we found out yesterday. They had one really, really well. They had a couple of chances, but the goal they scored is ridiculous, and you get punished.
Steve, what's been your thoughts on the opposition Wrexham on Tuesday night for Leicester?
I think they've been decent.
Yeah.
I would say that you've picked up points where I expected you to sort of pick up points, to be honest. And I think, as we said before the pod started, that ideally for you, survival is the key this season. And you push up from there. As long as you stay in the league and you don't sort of fall back down again, and that's a positive. I would, I think you are getting used to the league, the physicality, because I know you've got players that have played in the Championship before, but it's one thing for a few players to play in this league. It's another thing for the entire club to find out what it's like to be in the Championship, and the expectations of the ownership or whoever to realise that actually, if you get anywhere near the playoffs, that's an outstanding season. If you mid-table, that's even that's great as well. But as long as you guys stay up and then you invest again in the summer and you push on from there, because I think you'll find PSL wise, is that right? Because League One, the rules in League One and League Two aren't really that much of an issue. So you're doing okay in regards to that. So you'll have money to spend next year.
Oh yeah, we're well within the realms of that, because the amount of money that we're bringing in is it's just ridiculous. Like,
yeah. So
ridiculous.
overall, I'm impressed. Like, you know, look, a lot of football fans will piss on Wrexham for what they've achieved because, you know, they spent all the money. But that's just football tribalism, isn't it? You know, we're all gonna try and take the piss out of people when you can. But fair play, you know, there's not many clubs that can say they've come up from the National League all the way up to the Championship and still be competing, you know, and not be left behind by parachute payment clubs, because there's still a fair amount in this league. You know, okay, there are, I think Norwich don't have it anymore, but there's still like Norwich, there's Sheffield United, there's the 3 that came down last season, including us. So, you know, there's a lot of money in this league, and you would have to spend big to keep up. And as you know, the Leicester fan that you said previously said it was sort of catch-up money. Yeah, that's the perfect sort of analogy for it. It is catch-up money, and it looks like you spent it well, barring Connor Cody. Everyone else, it's, you know, you seem to be doing all right. So, you know, but if you need a striker, we've got one for you that's really good. He's played in Europe. He's played with Erling Haaland as well. He's scored some goals. Okay, not many in the games that he's played, but you know, Patson Daka can do a job for you at left back.
I don't know. I mean, do we want to add more to the little Leicester? It feels like it's like a suburb of fucking New York, isn't it? Little Italy. You've got little Leicester somewhere in Wrexham somewhere.
Tim, there's a question from Rich.
Yeah.
Which former Leicester player has been the most successful? Cody Ward, Brunt, Matty James, Callum Doyle. Obviously, he was on loan with us at the time, Callum Doyle. Which player would you say has been the best for Wrexham so far if you had to choose between the 5?
It's a difficult one, really, because, you know, I mean, Cody and Ward haven't played enough for varying reasons. Matty James been in and out, but he's a calming presence. Doyle, we haven't had him long, and he's kind of like been dumped out of the squad already. So I would say Lewis Brunt, just because I was initially unsure, and I wasn't in my head. I was like, he's either having a really good game or he's having a sketchy game. There's never been that level of consistency, but I'm seeing consistency with him now. Like he just seems more confident, and maybe he benefits from having a run of games, which is what he's having. I just like his overall presence. He's not afraid to spray it around from the back. He likes a good challenge. He's decent in the air. His positional play is really, really, really sound. And he looks like the fella from Madagascar. I forgot his name now, but he looks exactly like him. What's his name? That's his nickname at the club as well. But yeah, a guy with a very long neck, because Lewis Brunt's got an extremely, extremely long neck. Probably what makes him a half decent defender, I guess. But yeah, I need to look at who it is now. I forgot it. I forgot his name. Somebody in the chat will be able to tell me. I'm gonna have a look now. What is it? There is some sort of character in Madagascar.
It's not the giraffe, is it?
Is it Madagascar? I don't even know. I could have got it completely wrong, to be honest. I might just be talking bollocks. Could be something else. Never mind. I'll find out what it is. But it looks like Lewis Brunt, basically.
If you don't win that game, it's a bit worrying. Well, last time we played Wrexham would have been about at Filbert Street, Division 2. Was what it was called back then. Leicester won 1-0. Stuart Hamill scored for Leicester. Tim brought a sort of stat to the table and said, we don't really score at your place.
Yeah. And last four meetings, we've not scored at all. But we've scored in every game so far this season. So
well, we concede goals sometimes, which is
yeah. There won't be any issues there. You'll probably definitely score.
Well, yeah, I hope so, because that gives us half a chance, isn't it? So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
That's the 80s football. That's when
long time ago. You've had Walker's crisps on your shirt since then. It's quite a good shirt. Good shirt. I saw that shirt today at a shirt fair, retro shirt fair. So yeah, a couple of Leicester fans knocking around. I was like, shall I go and have a chin wag? I'll leave them to
it. And there you are chatting with two of them.
Yeah, well, I just thought I'd keep my powder dry until now. There's no point me going up. Who was it? I'm sure he had a Emil Heskey shirt on. I can't remember.
I don't even.
He's got 2 kids doing all right for City, is it? I mean,
Jaden and somebody else. Yeah, they made their debuts the other night
Yeah.
In the cup, which they look pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah.
Steve, Leicester, 3 wins, 3 draws, 1 defeat going into this one. We have a +3 goal difference. 5th place versus 15th. Obviously, I think that's where I've sort of got Wrexham this season, sort of 15th, 16th. I think they'd snap your hand off for it, to be fair, as long as they stay up. And then you look at Leicester, Steve. The last 3 games have been draws. Surely not on Tuesday night. We've got to be better in the final third if we are to get 3 points on Tuesday against Wrexham.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see some changes on Tuesday. I've said it a couple of weeks ago that, that the chances are that we'll play our strongest team on Friday night against West Brom, and we'll make a couple of changes against Wrexham. So you might see Carranza start and actually have a sort of pivotal point up front, because I don't know if you noticed on Friday, Jack, when we were in the second. No, I spoke to you. There was times where Marty was losing his mind at Jordan Ayew during that second half, and I think, and he finally came off before the 80th minute, didn't he? Which was nice to see. So we could see some changes in that team. It would be nice. I don't think we'll see a change in midfield. I think we'll keep that because midfield was okay on Friday. It was just the attackers. We were quite poor on Friday, and it is frustrating to see when you don't have a pivotal point up front and your wingers get doubled up on. So as long as if you double up on our wingers on Tuesday, you'll have a good day, because we don't create anything until the wingers get involved. So, but yeah, I'm confident, but then again, it's Leicester, so I never back against them, even when I thought they're going to get battered.
They're not there, really. That's what I say about Leicester every season. You never know which Leicester's going to turn up in different games. And Wrexham at home, it's not going to be a walk in the park. You can't sort of have that mentality, can you, Tim, in any game, in any league, to be fair. These games are easy 3 points. You've got to go and bloody work for it, haven't you? And this is where some teams think, they look at the opposition and think, okay, this is a walk in the park. This is too easy for us. And it's like, that, then you end up getting a slap of reality afterwards for thinking that type of thing.
Yeah, and I think it shouldn't under be any illusions that what Wrexham still have, despite the turnover in personnel, there's still probably an element of momentum which is on our side. I mean, 3 promotions in a row still carries an element of momentum, still carries an element of not invincibility, but a definite feel like, ultimately, if you have a setback, it doesn't matter. It's a setback. I think under Parky, his worst run is something like a winless run of 3 games, and that's in over 150, 200 games or something daft like that. It's crazy. So I think momentum is a big key factor into it, and this is what we signed up for. This is what these players have signed up for. It's not just the ones that have come from a similar or higher level. It's the ones that we've brought with us along the way. Ryan Barnett, who's a great winger for us, so we took him from Solihull Mills. He's going to be playing at Leicester on Tuesday. So he need players like him, and our centre back Max Kluivert, young centre back, come through the academy. This is what they signed up for. This is sort of stuff they've been dreaming of, like representing a club that have gone through the levels in breakneck speed. To come and try and showcase their own talent as well as a collective talent, and I think that's where we probably benefit from being more of an away team at the moment. We've traditionally been very good at home, but I think there's less pressure on us away. We're just going to go and enjoy it, the use of a big pitch, a decent pitch, and try and get an early goal and simmer everybody down. But yeah, I don't know what to expect, to be honest. It's the first big stadium Tuesday night game we've had, because obviously Southampton was on a Saturday, Norwich was on a Saturday, so this is the first kind of Tuesday night biggie under the lights, really.
Yeah, night games are not bloody the greatest of atmospheres, compared to what you'd have on a Saturday.
Especially at the King Power as well. Our atmosphere at times has been atrocious. It really has.
What I sort of find that we're up for some games, and then others it's like, and it's like, I don't know whether it's the opposition or what. And it's like, like we have an expectancy sometimes. And I look at us in this game, and I think the fans have got a bit of 12 man. You know, we are on a decent run of form. You know, what is it? 5 unbeaten since Preston. So we've got to keep that going. But then we just can't keep drawing games. We've got to find a winning games. And I do agree with what Rich says about the wingers, Steve. We rely too much on the wingers for goals. If you look at our goals this season, Monga scored, Fatawu scored, and then our defence has scored. Jordan Ayew scored 1, but then you expect more from him. We need to be better down the middle, and against West Brom, we were absolutely honking down the middle. We couldn't even get anywhere near of scoring, so we didn't even look like scoring. And then the wingers were getting doubled up on, and we just couldn't manage to find our rhythm. And maybe Wrexham will look at that West Brom game and think, okay, then, well, this is how Leicester played against West Brom. This is where we actually find how to actually study Leicester. And I think that's maybe where Phil Parkinson looks at us for this game.
He was at that game. He did go to that game on Friday night, Parker.
Oh,
yeah,
poor guy. I'm surprised he wasn't sent to sleep. It was.
Well, you say that. I mean, I wasn't sure if it was. I think it was probably a couple of days before, so the link is shit. But we signed some sort of weird sponsorship tie-up with some sort of pillow company. out of all the randomly large sponsors we've got on board, that seems to be a bit of a left field one, to put it mildly. But yeah. Yeah, it would have been a nice link had it happened like after the game, you know, but never mind.
Yeah. So the issue with us not playing through the middle is that we don't have a number 10 while Ramsey's out. You know, I don't think I can play that position.
Or Jake Madison, have you? Somebody can
no,
play.
you haven't. So you've got to rely on your wingers more than anything else. And JJ, as much as he's a tenacious sort of engine box to box midfielder, he's not a natural number 10.
He's not your creative.
Yeah, so you know, you've got Abdul and Mavididi, and I actually think Mavididi will start again on Tuesday anyway. You just got to hope that the fullbacks, because on Abdul's side, it's fine because Ricardo can overlap, and it's not.
It's the left-hand side with Luke Thomas.
Yeah, because Luke Thomas doesn't overlap his winger. It gives Mavididi one option, and that's to turn back inside and pass it back to him. And then you're just recycling the ball again and again and again, and that's where the frustration comes from. So,
and then you got Booba who grabs the ball, and then instead of going forward with it, it looks like a backward pass again.
Yeah, it is frustrating to watch at times. But again, you know, we are only 7 games into the season, and I feel like we're all very reactionary. Look, I walked down the stairs on Friday night on the 90th minute, and I walked into the concourse and we ended up scoring. So, you know, that's the frustration. I saw it from there. I didn't actually see it in the stands.
Well, you said you'd had enough. You said, I've had enough of this.
Yeah, I didn't think we were going to score. And to be honest, we tried our best not to. And then Dakota Reed hit the ball against the defender and it went in the back of the net. So I still think I'm cursed. But
you are.
Yeah. I think what Scott just said in the chat, we could see Dakota Reed playing the cam position on Tuesday.
He's good enough in the Championship, though. That's what I think. He made a difference, but he's an impact somebody. I think. I don't think he's a starter.
No, but the issue is if you don't play a 10 or somebody that can play in that position, then you know realistically we're not going to be very attacking. And Jordan Ayew keeps dropping back, and you know that I guess if we do play Dakota Reed on Tuesday, and then Ayew drops back into that 10 position again.
I agree.
You know, you guys will have the easiest day of your life in defence because there'll be nobody there to challenge. So I don't know if you could tell, but we're quite down on certain parts of Leicester this season, but quite up on other parts. You know. So.
And once you've been to the top, there's only one way down, isn't there? Really, there's only one direction. Once you've won it,
there is. There's not much more for us to win. You know, we've won the English set. We've been there, seen it, done it. We've worn the T-shirt. What more for Leicester to win? Because if someone said Champions League. It's not going to happen, really, is it? Unless we've got bloody money like Real Madrid or Barcelona or themselves teams, then we'd say, okay, then we've got a fair crack at this. But for what we've achieved, and obviously Wrexham will sort of look at that, won't they? And think, well, you know, look at what Leicester's achieved. Maybe Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney can actually take us there one day. It's a dream, isn't it?
Well, they said on the first press conference that the dream is going to the Premier League, and people just scoffed and laughed naturally.
Yeah.
and yeah, we're not. We're one step away, which is fucking mind blowing.
So we had that when the new owners came. Well, 2010, 2011, when the new owners came in, they said, you know, Champions League within 5 years, and we won the Premier League, and we're in the Champions League within 5 years. So, you know, people scoff at what these owners say, but sometimes it actually comes true.
Well, I mean, in light of what Paul's question was, is in terms of the cop stand, that has started, I think, this week, because there's been some to-ing and fro-ing over some sort of covenant or something to do with the sports trust. Can't remember the full ins and outs now, but it's way behind schedule, but it is going to be ready for not next season, but the following season. So anybody whinging about small allocations, you have to suck it up for now. It's the way it is. It's not our fault we climbed the leagues quicker than we expected to.
Damn it, how did you know I was going to moan about the away allocation so early in the season?
Look, I get that so many, including yourselves, a lot of football clubs will go and get a brand new purpose-built modern stadium. That's fine. It's great to a point. Ask West Ham. They hate that London stadium. They hate it. Upton Park was great. The London stadium is shite. You need a pair of binoculars to even watch the football from wherever you sat. So the one plus point for me is knowing that, barring some crazy explosion of Wrexham again, some sort of second wave, that we're staying put. We've got a ground. We're retrofitting it. We're building it out. Great, because it's in the perfect position. It's straight off the motorway. You're 5-minute walk into town. The train station next to it. It's almost perfect for the location, realistically. So yeah, never want to go into a brand new ground personally.
Tim How's bootlegger.
Fucking hell, yeah. How is bootlegger? He lives about 5 minutes away from me somewhere. Surprised I haven't seen him staggering past.
He's a funny bloke, isn't he? That meme.
I mean,
you just knew that was going to happen, didn't you?
Lovely guy, and
he's
like
funny.
The vlogs he did at the time were so good, man. They were so good. I'm surprised he never kind of carried it on, especially with the momentum. But
yeah,
the club get a bit funny now with vloggers, especially if you're filming all the match, because obviously EFL have got the rights, blah blah blah, and they say, you know, you're infringing on our copyright, you'll get a strikeout if you put it out, blah blah blah. But I kind of feel like he's maybe fallen out of love with it a bit for whatever reason. That's my take on it. He doesn't go to the games anymore. You know, he's very much just cracks on with family time and working and just being, you know, him. You know, he has a few scoops. He likes to drink, he likes to smoke, and he likes plenty of good food. And yeah, he's made a nice, healthy sum of cash being himself and monetizing it. And why not? Why not? But I do genuinely hope he starts coming back to games again, because there's a lot of other people that have stepped into his shoes that, for better or worse, probably aren't doing as much of an entertaining job as he did, by virtue of just being him. So there we are.
What's your thoughts on the game, Tim, before we go through teams and score predictions? And what's your obviously thoughts on Leicester?
I mean, I'm just excited for it. Like, you know, there's a couple of players in there like excited to see, like Jordan James. Love Jordan James. So to see him in a club environment as opposed to sort of Wales away duty is going to be exciting. And like you said, you mentioned Jordan Ayew there. There's some of these players we're used to seeing on TV, like match of the day sort of stuff, you know. And anybody who wasn't a Leicester fan and who doesn't feel like they got a rivalry with Leicester, how could you not fail to be taken away by the whole Ranieri Premier League thing? It's fucking brilliant. It was so good, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke. Couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke. Like there's not many managers on earth that you could probably go and have a few drinks with and want to listen to what he's got to say. And there's no arrogance. He's just a genuinely nice guy. So I was so delighted for him. So delighted that he got it. But I'm excited by it. I'm excited to come there. I'm excited to see what awaits us. One of my good friends is a Leicester fan, but he lives out in Thailand, actually, funny enough. And so no doubt I'll be having a bit of banter with him this week. And yeah, it's a free hit. If we come out of it with nothing, so what? it's very much a case of, yeah, all right, fair enough. It's one of those things, and if we get something from it, if you can get any sort of result on the road, it's a massive bonus, isn't it? Regardless of who you are, I think so. You want to avoid a 4 straight draw.
Yeah.
We want to keep what's essentially a bit of a purple patch now. We've had a good week, really. Decent win at Norwich, decent win in the cup, decent performance against Derby. It's just all starting to gel a bit. We've had a lot of early season injuries, which I think we're getting over now as well. So, yeah, up for it.
I think for us, Steve, against the 2 Welsh clubs this week, we've got Wrexham Tuesday, then we've got Swansea at the weekend, and then obviously the international break. I think we'd obviously look to win both games, to be fair. We've got to be on our A game though, haven't we? We've got to really start off well. We've only really done that against Birmingham at home. So we're expecting better from some players. I think the game, it's a tough game. I don't know if Kiefer Moore is going to start for Wrexham. Someone said he had was it an injury yesterday?
Yeah, he always picks up injuries because of the nature of his game, but he should be all right. All right. You've got a Welsh double. We've got a Midlands quartet. So we've got Derby, Birmingham, international break, Stoke. That's weird.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially traveling to Stoke as well. Fucking hell.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Some things in life you should have your ticket and your coach travel supplemented, and Stoke away is one of those that should be paid for you. 100%.
When do you
It's cold in the summer. When was that? Was Cardiff? Did you say?
When do you play Cardiff in the cup?
Cardiff will be 27th of October. I think it's going to be a Tuesday because we've got Middlesbrough away.
Yeah.
Is it Middlesbrough away? I can't remember. And then we've then got Coventry on Halloween, which is a Friday night. So we're going to have to shoehorn it in on a Tuesday. But I'd rather lose 20 games in the Championship and not lose to them. Honestly.
Agreed.
Could not. I can't. I don't even want to think about.
I'm
going to watch Wales soon for obviously Wales England in the friendly, and then we've got Belgium at home. And I there's a few of us that are like Wrexham, Swansea, Cardiff, and we all mix quite well. But that might have a slightly different dynamic ahead of that game.
I think this one's a must-win for us, isn't it, Steve? To be fair.
Well, yes, I would say because no offense, you came up from League One, so for a team that got relegated from the Premier League, you should be beating these teams to get any chance of automatic promotion. But as we know, you're saying a must-win doesn't always mean that we will win. There have been times this season where, like with Oxford, where we get a player set off in 20 minutes and a draw is a decent result. I think that's the frustration part, is that I feel like we should be beating these teams because we've got a better squad, but that means nothing in football nowadays. Because as long as your team put the effort in and you've got 3 or 4 players that don't really give a shit in your squad, you're not going to get the result. But it seems like everyone's still pushing the right direction at Leicester. They're not falling away. They are still playing for 90 minutes. The head doesn't go down when they go 1-0 down either. So I wouldn't say it's a must win, but
it's a game we'd like to win.
Yeah, especially with the game on Saturday and the international break. Realistically, we should be going to it with 6 points, but I would take 4, depending on who it's against. But because you are Leicester B, I'd like to beat you guys.
But you mentioned there about being a relegated Premier League club and taking on a team that has come up from League One. And I'm not trying to blow our own trumpet here, but I kind of feel like we're not your average League One promotees, given the turnover and the money spent. It's like it's not like we've just gone, here we are, nice to see you. Please be gentle and don't score more than 6. I think it's a slightly different feel to it. Yeah.
That's why I looked at the Premier League with bloody hell, Sunderland and Leeds and Burnley they're doing better than the 3 teams that come up bloody last year. Bloody hell, man! Like, that's what you want to do with League One. You look at Charlton; they've come up winning games, doing everything. Oxford came up the year before, doing very well again. So they're the sort of teams you look at and think, okay, then if they can do it, then they can keep fighting in to staying up and that's something we want to achieve. So every game in the Championship's tough. I don't think you can ever overlook any team despite if they've come up from League One or not, you know. The mentality we've got to have that we obviously want to win every game, but you always know there's them bumps in the road in a season where you always know you're going to get, which we obviously have had in the last 3 games. But so, like I say, the squad's got to be at it. The effort's there, fantastic for 90 minutes, but it's the goals that we're sort of struggling to convert and be clinical enough in. So that's what I'm sort of looking at. Tim, I'm going to let you go first with your starting 11. Does Connor Cody make it or not? Or will he be
absolutely
on
no chance? Yeah, he'll be doing some punditry with me somewhere. If not here, then they'll probably fly him out to the studio in Bahrain so he can do it whatever channel is over there. But he's been bombed out of the squad for a reason, and there's preferred options ahead of him already. One thing I've learned about Parky at this stage so far is he's not afraid to be brutal. I mean, he's proved that over the summer. Like, don't care how many goals you scored, Paul Mullin. You're not good enough this level. See you later. Off you go to Wigan. Yeah. See you later, Ollie Palmer. You're too old for us now. Off you go to Swindon. So he's wielded the axe because he's had to. And even the players he's brought in now, he's like, well, I'm going to have to wield the axe again because I don't think you've quite done enough for me yet. But go away, prove a point, and come back. So, yeah, you won't see him. I'll be amazed if he's anywhere near the bench. But who knows? Maybe Parky might get sentimental and stick him on there.
Oh, the boos are going to be legendary if he starts, that's for sure. Or if he comes on,
he'll have a pair of radio headphones on blocking it out. What are you on about?
Oh, I can't wait.
If he comes on, he'll have a body-worn video on his shirt so he can film it all.
He'll be doing the radio while running around the pitch or just stumbling about, you know. Oh, that's just having a tackle.
What would Gary Lineker say? That's the only question you need. He'd be furious.
I think Ewan Roberts bloody slagged him off, didn't he, Steve? Connor Cody proper dug into him. He was like, yeah, but this guy, and he didn't do nothing at Leicester. It's this, it's that, his attitude, his mentality, radio presenter. And obviously, Ewan Roberts, the Welsh fans love him, don't they? Because he's a straight up talker. He don't care what he's got to say, he'll say it no matter who he thinks it of. And, you know, Ewan Roberts were a great player for us in our time. And
yeah, you respect what he says, to be honest, because he wasn't wrong, was he? Let's be honest.
No.
A great distinct lack of teeth for Ewan Roberts.
Yeah.
He's got them all now, but at the time.
He didn't back then. No,
he had none.
Steve, Leicester's team, I think this is where I sort of leave Jordan Ayew on the bench, you know. He's not going to play 46 games. I think this Tuesday night game will give something for other players to be given a chance. I think the defence will sort of stay the same back four. I think the goalkeeper is going to stay the same in it. I don't think we're going to drop Stolarczyk. I know there's been a few different opinions on him over a few games about his distribution and that, and obviously the way sometimes he can just pat him out. But I sort of think the midfield with Jordan James and Harry Winks will be where we'd go. Louis Page, I'd sort of give him that cam role, or Bobby D Cordova-Reid. Fatawa is going to start with Carranza. I think left wing, I'm going to have to give it Monga for Tuesday night. I think that's where I'm sort of looking at it. Mavidide, I just thinking he's taken out the firing line because against West Brom, I said it to you at half time. He just didn't do it again. And second half, that's why he brought him off, because he just didn't think it. But then if he's not doing it and Marty's getting frustrated with him and Ayew and whoever, like, stop starting a minute then. Bring them on off the bench. And this is what you do with players who haven't got the confidence.
I don't think he did that badly, to be fair, on Friday night. I think he was okay. The issue is that he was being doubled up on like Abdul was. So they were a bit ineffective because of that. I think he starts again on Tuesday, and then if we don't perform, then Monga starts on Saturday. I think Ayew will start again because, you know, Marty loves Jordan Ayew for some reason. I still think he's got some nudes somewhere from him to be like, you know, you got to play me, or I'm going to release these to the world. I actually think it will probably be an unchanged side, apart from Christensen coming for Thomas. I think that'll be the change.
That'll be an interesting one. I know it's not the biggest rated at Leicester regarding the fans again, Christensen. They'd have happily sold into Forest in the summer. Leicester fans for that 10 million quid.
Yeah.
Tim, score prediction then for this one. What's your head and heart, mate?
Ah, man, my head says I kind of feel like we're going to lose 1-0.
Okay.
My heart says I would be delighted with another 3 goals away from home, and go from there. Yeah, I reckon. Oh yeah, somebody else, isn't it? Oh, Andy's been on theirs.
Did Andy go on theirs?
Yeah, Andy's been. But yeah, any sort of way win's great. But yeah, I think we'll lose 1-0. But I'd like to see us win, I don't know, 3-1 and just shock everybody and cause a cacophony of boos around the King Power. As we look over to Connor Cody in the press box, who's like warming applaudly, pissing off everybody.
I might get banned from the football if that happens.
They won't let him in, will they? Surely they won't let him in.
I'll be doing a John Joe Shelby and climbing up those steps.
We got told before he was one player that was asked to sort of stay overnight at the training ground because of how far he was having to travel, and he refused to do so. Something like that. It's a bit wacky, but yeah.
No, that wasn't him. That was Harry Winks and Yannick Vestergaard. I know they did ask Connor, and Connor apparently did say no, but then he actually turned it because he played for the rest of the season. So I think he did actually end up doing it.
Steve,
who knows? Who knows? Look, I honestly, right, games like this for us at this stage. I mean, if we're in the Championship next year and 5 years and 10 years, and it all of a sudden becomes a bit like, oh right, we're going back there again. Do you know what I mean? So it's still shiny, fresh, and new to us. All of this, and when you load that with shining, fresh, new, brand spanking players, it's great. It's like all Christmases have come at once. So we're just going to come there and enjoy it, make a noise. If we get something, we do. If we don't, oh well. Onwards to Birmingham.
Have you sold out for Tuesday night?
I think so. I'm pretty sure we have. We won't be far off it. I think it's a weird one. You kind of got to contest with all these kind of changes and this, that, and the other. But I'd like to think for the most part it'll be there or thereabouts. We'll be far off being sold, I think.
Ward scored her in 2 own goals. Danny Ward won't even play comment. He won't even be playing. If you want to play him with one arm, mate, he'd have a masterclass even with one arm. I think the amount of chances we create in a game, let's be fair.
Like hailing a taxi.
Yeah.
Taxi for Ward.
Taxi for Ward. I tell you what, if that pulled a fans had King Power, Leicester fans would applaud me off. I'm joking. Steve, obviously this is the first time we'll discuss this, the prediction for this one. I know we've got the others to predict the other night, tomorrow night, sorry. What are we thinking?
I've gone for a 1-0 Leicester win. I think we'll just smash it. It'll be a scrappy game, but it will be one that we just come away with a win.
Typical bloody Tuesday night game then, yeah? Typical midweek. Well, there's not many goals in it.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Do I think we'll score more than one? If we're at our best, yeah, I do. But if we bloody play the way we did against West Brom, where we get bloody near goal and create enough chances to score. I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to go for Abdul to score. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go Jordan James to score, actually. I said that against Coventry, and none of them come up by. We're 0-0 in the end. But yeah, I think 2-0. Tim, thanks for coming on, mate. All the best for the rest of the season after obviously Tuesday night until we obviously meet you again at the race course next year. But quickly plug your channel for me, mate, in your podcast. Let everybody know what you do regarding Wrexham AFC.
Yeah, Fearless in Devotion. You can find us most places now across all the socials. We're very active on X, so it's Fearless ID Zine because it initially was a fanzine as well. Yeah, YouTube, usual places, Insta, Blue Sky, wherever else is left out there. But yeah, it's, we try and just keep it as grounded and as real as possible. And just, like I said at the start of the show, just call it as you see it and don't try and pull the wool over your fellow fans' eyes because they will see right through it and call you out over it. So, be genuine and be humble is the best way, I think.
I got a compliment from an Oxford fan for because I was saying how the points deduction and how we deserve it because it's our own responsibility for PSR, etc., etc. And he said, Steve, this is really weird to see an opposition fan being truly honest about how shit their team are. You know, it's weird. I'm like, thank you. You've got to say it as it is, because you know, if you're the one that made the mistake, hold your hands up and say that was my. Sorry, guys. We'll try and do better. You know, but yeah, I guess
you'll get some fans who think they will beat us.
Yeah.
They rhyme with Birmingham pity. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's the thing with football. You go to games, you watch it, you watch it with your own eyes, don't you? You know, you obviously have that opinion with obviously watching the game itself. Everyone's going to have a different opinion. That's fine, isn't it? But you just got to be realistic with it. And to be fair, if a player's not good enough, you say they're not good enough. It's constructive criticism, isn't it, Tim, with players? It's not abuse. It's just constructive criticism. I know some people can go over the top with certain things, but constructive criticism, you just say it as you see it.
Unlike, for the most part, most podcast content creators, whatever you want to call us all, it's like, we're not well versed or qualified to really say, oh, well, I know better than Phil Parkinson because I did a degree in master tacticianry. No, you didn't. You know nothing about football. You'll never know more about football than a man who's won 6 promotions. So stop lying, right? So, all I just think, just comment on the things that you can probably reasonably comment about. Did he make enough effort? Is he having a bit of a shit time? Should he have really scored that? Should Danny Ward have kept that out despite him having 7 arms? Yeah, all the kind of realistic stuff as opposed to getting embroiled in stuff that we absolutely know nothing about, but so many of us either profess to or pretend to. It's like, just give it a rest. You start coming at me with XG and all this bollocks. Just go and kiss a girl and get out the house.
Yeah. I didn't realize that Danny Ward was from Coventry with 7 arms, to be honest. It was a revelation.
That's 7 fingers. No, I don't. To be fair to Coventry, they're doing really well.
Yeah.
So if Danny Ward's arm is injured at the minute, he's got 6 others to use, and then he's grown arms since he'd left Leicester. Steve, bloody hell, mate. You know what I mean? So them goals he's needing to keep out. That's what it is.
He's a good lad.
You know him better than we do, don't you? To be fair, you obviously know his friends and that, which you obviously know him on a more personal level, which that's what you sort of need sometimes, isn't it? Some people who obviously know players on personal levels, but we don't know what their personal.
Yeah, but you can be a lovely person, but you still got to do your job to the best of your ability.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
and if other people look at that and go, you're not having a great time at the moment, it either goes one or two ways, and people deal with things in different ways. Maybe he could have had somebody else who said, look, maybe go out on loan for a bit, get your confidence back, and we'll see what happens. But for whatever reason, it didn't happen. And he's done a bit of a, what was his name? The one that was at Man City. Was it Carson?
Scott Carson, where he'd won it.
No, I'm thinking of Scott Carson. Scott Carson, who won everything.
Yeah.
Well, he just sat on the bench forever, didn't he?
Got paid, made a couple of appearances, and lived up as a millionaire.
Amazing. What the best job in the world he's had.
What best job in the world.
Yeah. And like Danny Ward's no less guilty of doing the same thing. And you go, fair enough. Fair enough.
Tim, thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it.
It's all right, Joy. I'm knackered. I still haven't eaten. It's 9:45. Fuck, man.
Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah. I'm like, what are we going to have for dinner now? Fuck.
Cheers, Jim.
All the best. Take care, lads.
Cheers, guys.
Oh, Steve. Wrexham it is then. And then tomorrow night, the 3 horsemen come back together again for the predictions. I don't know how everyone's done this week. I think I've got a couple of points from different fixtures. A few let me down, and Steve were pissing, laughing about them.
To be fair, I put hat about the Ipswich result, but I also went 2-0 to Ipswich. So I'm laughing at myself there because I didn't realise what I'd done.
But yeah, we are back tomorrow night, 8:30 for the Championship predictions. Week 8, come and join us for that. Get involved. We do it. It's a good crack. I know we might not know a lot about the bloody Championship, and sometimes that's football, isn't it? You learn as you go along. We do it because we enjoy doing it, and we just enjoy chatting football, really. And Richie's going to be back tomorrow with us. The Suffolk Crunch, indulging on bloody Ipswich's 2-1 win over Portsmouth, and probably chatting about Blackburn's defeat to Charlton. Did it rain? Did it not? We'll let Rich decide. But now, cheers everyone. Like I say, 8:30 tomorrow night. Join us for that championship predictions. Take care, and we'll catch you again soon.